Morning viewers, welcome back to the channel. By now you would have seen all the Three Amigos videos and our tour of 5 countries in 5 days, which was a great deal of fun. The story behind this video is that when I got back, I decided in my wisdom to clean my motorcycle on the day, probably not concentrating totally, but anyway, went on to it. Put the bike on a paddock stand and got Anne to help me, bless her. She was at the front, I was at the back. And as I finished my cleaning, took the bike off the paddock stand, it went to its right and then leant gently against the car, pulling Anne over, and I was holding the bike on the key, which was in the back of the top box. And the result was that. Okay, so did a lot of swearing after that one. No damage to the bike though, that was a good thing. No damage to the bike, little scratch on the windscreen, which we managed to polish out. That was it. However, we were left, and I say we because, you know, it's the royal we were left with that. That particular end, or that piece, was still in the actual key fob. What is it? The lock. It was in the lock, and that one was in my hand. Okay, so the dilemma: how to solve that one. Fortunately, the top box was open, so I could get to inside the top box, managed to dismantle it, and take the actual lock out. So we were then left with the dilemma of getting this out of the lock itself. Fortunately, Anne went online and found a broken key extractor kit, which we got off of Amazon, and it was £8 or £9 or something like that, really cheap, great. And then using this little tool here, there is a variety of tools. There are various sizes, and they come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these, and a little wiring extractors, and when you feel them, they're a little bit rough edged along their diamond cut or something like that. So that went in, managed to hook onto this little beauty here, and then it was extracted. And did all the hard work. I just sat and watched. So we got the key out, polished it all up, lock went back into the top box, great. So I'm still left with this broken key. It has got the coding on it, the number, so contacted Triumph, and they said, yeah, we can do that. We can buy, you need to buy 2 because they come in pairs. However, you will need to go down to Triumph, and you'll have to have it coded with that key. So that's where I'm going this afternoon. Keys are in at a cost of, I think, about £65 for the 2 keys, which wasn't bad. And they are getting coded, and I will have 3 keys for my bike. So that's where I'm going later. Speak to you soon. So I'm off now to Triumph. It's due for about 2 o'clock, so it's about 1 o'clock now, so it gives me plenty of time to get there. I'm hoping that the rain stays off, but I've got the right gear on, so if it does rain, I'm not going to get wet. But the weather forecast said that the rain will stay off until later, so that's good. So I've had a couple of additions actually since came back from tour, and been having a little bit of a spend, not too much, but I just wanted to adapt certain things that I didn't find particularly, not comfortable I think the word is, but user friendly when I was on tour, and that was the sat-nav position. I had it mounted around about here, which was okay, but there was a lot going on the handlebars. Now what I have found about the paintwork on this particular Triumph
and I don't know whether that's because they're trying to keep the price down, or whether it's made because it's made in one of their overseas factories and not in the UK or whatever, I don't know. But that paintwork on this is very thin, so be warned, if you're going to put stuff on this handlebar, you need to get a wrap around it, because I've had a couple of chips already. Touched them up, but it's very annoying on a brand new bike. You'll also notice here on this yoke, which is the handlebar yoke as well, the paintwork there is not very good as well, and I've had a bit of rubbing there. I might at some point get that resprayed, but it's not urgent, and if I can suppress my OCD, then I'll live with it. But anyway, you will notice now I have a mount for the sat-nav TomTom, which was one of the purchases. Decided to go with that. Anne's already got one, so obviously it worked for her, and it's perfect because when it sits there I can still see the screen, and then I've added the power unit there as well, which means I'll get power into the sat-nav, so it's all hunky-dory around there, so that's fine. Then I can just have my 360 sitting there, and that's fine. I haven't got a lot going on then. But again, as you can see, I've put something under that to protect that paintwork, just in case it comes off. So that if there was any cons about this particular model, it would be the quality of the paintwork on the handlebars, not necessarily the paintwork on the bodywork. Bodywork's lovely. As I said in the introduction to this video, and was explaining about the key and the damage, etc, etc, one of them was a little bit of a scratch on the windscreen, but that's come out, so that's lovely. And I also mentioned that it leant towards the car. Actually no damage to the car either. There's a little scuff but polished out as well, so got away with quite a lot really, except the key. So I think on a drop, 65 quid for 2 keys ain't too bad. Anyway, now as wow, it's a little bit windy today, might be picking it up on the mic. As far as the actual circumstances behind the drop, was because I'd put it, I was using a paddock stand, but I didn't have any bobbins on the bike. And I was using the flat bars which went onto the swing arm, just like you can get various options with a paddock stand for those that use them, and one of them is a bobbin paddock, which is hooks, which is the safest way really. If you've got bobbins on the back of your bike and the paddock stand fits under the hooks and that flicks up, that's the safest one. But I was using the sort of corner edges, padded corner edges, that also come as an option. So maybe that was the issue, I don't know. I've used them plenty of times before, it's never been a problem, but what I have now done is bought bobbins as well, so they're on. So they're all the additions, and then the final addition, which I'll show you later on, can't show you now, is the aluminium plates which go next to the pegs on Triumphs. And I've had it before on my Street Triple, do rub, and it's your boot, it's just naturally where your boot sits against that aluminium, and it can rub. So what I've done is I've bought some little decals that go around that with Triumph on it. It looks very smart, and I'll show you that later on. So just a little addition, so the little things that just saves the bike over the long term, that's all. Yeah, that wind, funnily enough, this wind has been howling across the UK for the last 3 days, and for those that are regular riders, it can be a real pain in the backside, can't it? You know, not only just a gust will take you, which is never great, but it brings in that rain, you get a bit of a squall that comes in as well, so yeah. I'll be looking forward to when that wind dying down. Don't know when it's going to happen, but I think it's in for a few more days yet. So I'm now heading towards Basildon and then out towards the A127, which takes us into Romford. So about half an hour into the ride, just got past Gidea Park. They've still closed off one of the major sort of access routes along the A127, and apparently we're supposed to be open by the end of September, but that's not going to be open for several months now. They didn't even start working on it, which is not surprising, is it really? You know, they seem to give a date for something and then something happens, because they normally dig a road up and they find something's wrong and foundations aren't right, or they've got to move a drain or a pipe. No, I don't think it's ever that straight cut, is it, when a major roadworks goes on? Anyway, trundling through quite nicely. I just looked at the temperature, actually. It's 20 degrees C, which is not very cold, is it? But just looks gloomy. And I think when the sun's not out and it's all grey and you can't differentiate between anything, then it always feels colder. But yeah, 20 degrees, not too bad. Oh, just dropped down to 19.5. There you go. So what plans have I got, or have we got? And in about a week and a half's time, we're off to Switzerland for a long weekend. I know you're probably thinking, my God, that's a long way to go for a long weekend, and yes it is, but when we were on our lakes and mountains tour, we were quite disappointed that we didn't manage to do some of the passes because of snow and avalanche risk. Bearing in mind this was in June, but you know, it is what it is in the mountains. So, and came up with this plan that we would take the Mini, my little Mini Clubman, and we would head over to Switzerland on a sort of rapid one-dayer, stay overnight, do our little passes that we missed last June, and then come back. And that's what we're going to do. So I will take the cameras along so you can join us on it. Should be quite interesting, because we're going to do a couple of things like vernacular up into the mountains, and then obviously the actual roads themselves should be quite thrilling, although it's not on the motorbike. I appreciate that. It's like set aside from my normal content, but I thought we'd have a look at it and see if we can just video that little weekend and show you all. So that's at the end of September. Nothing after that planned. A few ride outs possibly, but of course the weather is changing here in the UK, so it'll only be when the weather's nice. I'm certainly not going out when pouring rain. Not just on a pleasure side of it. If I've got to work in it, that's not a problem, but I'm not going to go out the Sunday afternoon in the pouring rain for a ride out. That's not on the cards. Here we are, Triumph East London. Plenty of bikes about. Should be able to find a parking space. Okay. Well, that's a nice coloured blue one. Daytona 660. Oh, that looks nice, doesn't it? Very nice. Oh, yeah. It's unusual, that one, isn't it? It's got a wrap on it, is it?
It's a sticker.
Oh, yeah. And I do like this colour. Definitely like this colour. Come on, Triumph. Do the 800 in that colour when I come to doing the new one. Okay, all sorted. So I now have 3 keys. Although, can't have enough keys, can you, really? But, yeah, all done. That was £108 for the keys and the coding, etc. I don't actually know what they have to do to code the key, but I suppose that's the secret. But they've obviously got the software to do it. So that's all good. So those keys will fit, and I'll check with the barrels as well when I get back, because at some point I might stick on some panniers. So make sure all those keys fit that as well, which I'm sure they will anyway. Hopefully that won't happen again. It is one of those things. Sometimes the motorcycling gods are not on your side. That's the way it goes. Anyway, some nice bikes in there though, and I was particularly impressed with that 400 Scrambler, and apparently it's got quite rave reviews. 40 brake horsepower, 400cc. What I do like is the fact that, like it's a Scrambler, they've set the pipes are quite tidy and they're quite low. and so that means you can get luggage on the back as well. And people have toured on them apparently. You know, I think the trend now is for a little bit of a lighter bike, and that sort of kind of fits the bill. So they are selling well. Would I have one? If I had a garage big enough, I'd have them all. But I haven't. So the answer to that one is no. There are other bikes that I possibly might like in the future, but the 400 Scram Platinum is not one of them. I have ridden the 400, did it on the off-road day, and I found it a little bit tricky going uphill. Just didn't have enough guts, and you ended up having to change gear standing up, which is, you know, not easy. But, you know, each to their own. Some people might just want to keep that, so I'm not going to knock it. And it's a good looking bike as well, and that's half the battle, isn't it? Most people like the looks of a bike and they think, oh yeah, it looks really nice. Paintworks, they do some really nice paintwork with the Triumphs now. They're being a bit more inventive, and I love the new colours. They've got a turquoise colour which is stunning, and an orange, like this Caspian blue is absolutely wonderful. And yeah, like I said, that green that they do on the 660, I reckon if they do that on the 800, that will sell very well. Everyone likes something shiny, don't they? Shiny and new and colourful. I always remember back in the day I had a turquoise VFR 750. Now it was a typical 90s bike, but actually the colour, although you can't see them anymore, I mean, I don't think I've seen one up for sale anywhere. It just looks so unusual, and if you get that unusual colour, they either sell like hotcake or or they'll just sit in the dealership. So I suppose that's what attracts people to certain things, and that, you know, colour. We are magpies, aren't we? Well, this looks like it's going to be a bit of a longer journey home than I anticipated, and I can't go up the A12 because Gallows Corner is closed, so it may require a little bit of filtering. Okay, so I thought I'd find somewhere reasonably quiet just to run you through those extra bits that I said I'd put on. So one of them was the Power Bronze bobbins, which are colour coded blue, which is quite nice, and also the decals to stop that rubbing on this aluminium plate, which is also a Tiger, which I thought was quite nice. Another addition is this, okay, because the tank bag that I used on tour, I had the magnetic here, and it rubbed this here. That was the cause of it. Although I had it actually covered for the majority of the tour, it was all too late because it had rubbed beforehand, but at least I saved that little bit. So like I said, I might get this recoat, powder coated in the future. But then I saw this one from SW Motec, and the tank bag sits there, and it's actually quite nice. It is free sort of floating, and it doesn't actually touch the tank, but it's got rubber bungs underneath. So if you need a tank bag for the 800, then it's SW Motec with this bracket, which is quite nice. So that's an addition. Obviously the screen you know about, because Anne had the original one, and then But like I said, I had a couple of scratches on it, but they've all polished out quite nicely. There you go. The only other ones that I may get are protectors for those, but I haven't got round to doing that yet. And it's all about cost, isn't it? How much do you want to actually put into the package when ultimately on a PCP it's going to go back at some point? But yeah, I think they'll help. And like I said, they've got the keys now. Show you those keys. Got a nice new cover for my light lock. There they are. 2 brand new keys. Okay. So sort that out when we get back. Going to trundle back now. So just a quick update anyway. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. And I don't know when the next one's going to be, because obviously depending on the weather really. But hopefully I'll get out on a run. Like I said, don't mind it being cloudy. Just need it to be dry.